EMSradio.com.
EMS information for the next generation.
The EMS Garage is a production of EMSradio.com. You can find us on Facebook, just search EMS Garage. You can find us on Twitter at EMS Garage. Email us, emsgarage@gmail.com, or call us, 303-720-6001.
The EMS Garage.
Checking out right now. Okay, I got DG on the phone there. Want to know if you can handle that call as well. Just confirming you are checking the patient. Salmonic 22 is on scene.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the EMS Garage / EMS World Smash Up podcast at EMS World Expo 2018 here in lovely Nashville. I wish I'd have brought my boots this time, but I didn't. Next time. Joining me today is Michael Poynter. And Michael, what do you do? Where are you from?
I'm the state EMS director for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Been a paramedic for 37 years. We've got a lot going on. We've got a lot going on in Kentucky.
Nice. Well, you want to talk about recruitment and retention. So tell me a little bit about what's going on in Kentucky around that.
Yeah, you know, Chris, we've had a lot of calls from service directors, from agencies saying, hey, we can't find EMTs and paramedics. And we've talked with them, we've looked at numbers. We've got about 15,000 providers in Kentucky.
Okay.
And we've actually have more paramedics than we've ever had in the history of EMS, but we're doing more than we've ever done. You know, we've got flight paramedics, we've got a number of helicopters, which for each helicopter it takes 4 medics. That's 4 medics off the street.
Right.
We've got MIH and community paramedicine that we're really looking into. We've got paramedics that are working in the emergency departments now,
right,
which we didn't used to. You know, when I first came out, you know, we knew as a paramedic that I was going to be in the back of an ambulance. That was it.
Right.
So, but I see these as good problems. You know, it's something we've got to face, we've got to approach in a different mindset, but they're achievable problems. So if we want to expand the discipline, we've got to pretty aggressively look into this and put out more good quality EMTs and paramedics.
So I often hear the terms recruitment and retention, like it's like 2 words that should go together, but should they?
It's a separate discipline, but still, to retain somebody, you've got to recruit them.
Good point, good point.
We've actually started recruiting in high schools now. We're actually doing EMT classes in high schools.
Wow.
We're trying to get the word out. Most everybody, what they perceive is a lot different than what EMS really is. And we're trying to sort of go into that and say, hey, this is what it's really like.
Right.
There's going to be a need for that. There's going to be more of a need in the future. But we've got to look at it as a state agency. We've got to be proactive and think ahead 4 or 5 years down the road. Because, you know, typical paramedic training, anywhere from 12 months to 4 years,
right.
There's going to be a trend there that we've got to fill up.
So is it a pay issue? Is it a lifestyle issue? I mean, have you surveyed the providers out there to find out what you should be doing as far as recruitment and retention?
In Kentucky, we've got geographic areas that are more challenged than others.
Okay.
In some areas, they're running 2 medics per truck.
Whoa.
In some areas, they can't find medics. But really, what we put together and what it comes down to is, of course, the salary and benefits. Some services, you know, that run 1 or 2 ambulances per county can't really afford to pay higher wages than some of the other urban counties with a higher population. So that's what we're sort of seeing right now. I mean, we can't statistically prove that, but just a word of mouth poll, that's what we've come up with.
Right. So what are some of the tools that you've been using to help? So say I'm a rural administrator, what are some of the tools you're giving them?
First of all, we're trying to go as a grassroots project first. In our organization in EMS in Kentucky, we just hired a full-time marketing and public relations manager for our office.
Wow.
So we're trying to put together a business plan, not for us, but for EMS across the state. How can we get the word out and recruit these folks and keep them in the business so we can expand EMS down the road?
So that's very non-bureaucratic of you, because most bureaucrats would be like, it's not my problem. But then to go to the next step and say, it is my problem, and we're going to hire somebody to help you guys get there. So what are some of the ideas they're brand new, right?
Yeah,
So
we're still in the infancy of this, but we've got so many ideas that I'm sort of like Rain Man. I keep a note of paper with me everywhere I go, and I just write down notes. I think of this and this.
Right.
But we're looking at, okay, why do you want to be a paramedic? Why do you want to be an EMT?
Right.
We've got to be able to answer that.
Right.
And it's a career. 20, 25 years ago, it's a little different mentality now. The age difference and the technology and the equipment that we've got is totally different than it used to be. But still, it's a career that's always going to be here. And we've got to get some good folks in there that can take over when we sort of fade out.
Right. From a policy standpoint, as the chief bureaucrat of EMS in Kentucky, I like using that term. I know it's not true.
I hear it all the time.
I did it with Bereshansky yesterday too.
Oh yeah.
So how can you, from a policy standpoint, are there policies other than what you've already done? But are there other policies to make it where or recruitment and retention can become easier?
That's a good question, but we've got to get the word out. And one of the initial projects that we've thought about with our marketing position is we've got to get information out to the decision makers, legislators. I actually spoke at one of the committees in our state government, and we produce an annual report every year. It's 43 pages of good data that statistically says this is what we do. Most of the legislators didn't have any idea what we actually did.
Right, wow.
And the reason that we're trying to educate those is that when you've got the legislators on board with you, you can make decisions and hopefully get some financial support initially until we're more self-supported.
Do you guys currently are you general fund supported? How is the EMS office
We get
supported?
a specific financial support from the state annually, but about 50% of that goes back to the providers in a grant format.
Oh, nice.
To buy equipment. So we get most of our revenue from certifications, licensure, disciplinary actions, things like that. So, we run it, it's a business. I always tell our staff, you've got to run like a business. We're a state government office, but I run it like it's my family budget. I really do. Not to be mean or cheap, but if we go out and buy something, if we justify it, that's okay.
Right.
If we go out just to spend money, that ain't going to happen.
That's right. So can you take that grant fund and can you spend it on recruitment and retention or on people?
Not really. The grant money goes to county EMS services to buy equipment, and it's a specific type of equipment list that we've got that they can buy. So anything within that list, they can buy to enhance their service. What we're trying to do, we've worked with the Department of Rural Health, and we just received a few grants for leadership, recruitment, and retention. We're actually going to have an EMS day on the Hill in January. We're doing a leadership summit the day before. So the second day we'll have ambulances, helicopters, and staff talking about the same thing, and that's going to be a big topic, recruitment and retention.
Very nice. That's for Colorado, our state EMS association, we do an EMS day on the Hill, and we've now been doing it, 8 years, 9 years, and it's huge. And just and not only is that part good, but then the association, then we basically buy hors d'oeuvres and some cocktails for the legislators, and that's when they really go in and go, oh, we didn't realize that an ambulance costs $250,000 fully
Right.
outfitted, and so just getting them to start understanding the burden that's already there is half the battle.
Well, that's it. And what most people know about EMS, they see on TV or they see in the newspaper or in media.
Right.
And a lot of that is a little left or right. So we're trying to be as honest as we can on what we do. It's a good profession. I wouldn't change a thing. I love it.
Right.
And what I've done, you know, I feel like we can make a difference. But we whichever direction we go, it's our fault. That's the way I see it.
Right.
If it's good or bad.
It's a good point. It's a great point. So what's the future in Kentucky? So let's say 5 years from now, what is the future for you guys as you're looking at recruitment and retention? You have paramedics on every street corner, or
Well,
I mean, what does that look like?
we're looking at different options. We're looking at training institutions on accelerated classes. We're looking at changing the schedule of paramedic training. You know, most paramedic students are EMTs that want to be paramedics that are working 24, 48, or 12-hour shifts, adjusting the schedule that accommodates them better.
Right.
So little things like that. We're trying to talk with the colleges and private TEIs about, you know, how we can produce more good quality graduates, not just you know, a farm, or not just cattle running through grassland, but you know, let's produce good quality medics, EMTs.
Nice.
So it's going to take time to do that. It's not an overnight fix, but it's something that we can do, and we're getting the support more and more from our decision makers.
Excellent.
Because we've educated them. So it's sort of it's a chain reaction. You do this happens.
Right, right. And then you got to be ready for when all that happens.
Exactly.
So like,
exactly.
oh, we can stand that up now.
Exactly.
So, Michael, where can people find you and maybe converse with you about recruitment and retention, and maybe give you their ideas or find out what you guys are doing in Kentucky?
Sure. You can go to our website. It has all of our contact information on there. It's kyems.com.
Cool.
I'd be glad to talk with people. It's always good. And a lot of other projects, you know, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. Use other states, use other resources, subject matter experts that have gone through this too, and let's put our heads together and try to get a solution across the board.
I like it.
So, you know, it's something that's not going away. We can't just turn our head or put our head in the sand.
Right.
And we're so supportive of making a difference here. We've got to do something.
Completely agree. Thank you, Michael. Thanks for joining me.
Appreciate it.
And thank you guys for watching this episode of EMS Garage and the EMS World podcast, coming to you from the EMS World Expo 2018 from Nashville. We'll find more content right here on this channel coming up soon.